Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. It's good to have all of you here. Today is a unique presentation because we're going to look at one of the most current issues in Nigeria, the Boko Haram insurgency. We'll be looking at interrogating Boko Haram conflicts. Who kills more? But there's this argument that has been ongoing about people who die during Boko Haram insurgency. Is it really that security operatives kill more than insurgents or terrorists? Or is it that terrorists kill more civilians than security operatives? So all these things have been coming up, and today we'll be looking at the figures we have in our database, Nigeria Watch, to confirm or debunk some of those assumptions we have on our daily discussions. So we want us to pay more attention. At the end of the day, we make our contributions, we ask questions, and then we'll see how we'll defend, answer those questions that will come up. So I want a session where it will be more interactive. If it's interactive, we are here to learn too, just like they're there to learn from us. And since it's a contemporary issue in the country, there's nothing that will stop us from changing ideas, talking more about how to overcome our challenges. So once again, you're welcome to the presentation. At this point, I want us to invite the presenter, Madam Ayodoko Victoria Abiola. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Nice having you back after some days off, and we're joining in this discussion. Boko Haram. Today's topic, we want to look at interrogating Boko Haram conflicts. Who kills more? There has been, like my colleague said, there has been an ongoing discussion about these conflict issues in Nigeria, knowing who kills who and who kills more. Today we want to look at figures and statistics verifying these arguments globally. Introducing this research, we want to see more. We want to see more about what scholars have been from Nigerian Watch, what's the figures we gather, and how it's been. Introducing this work, Christopher Ammon, in his book Terrorism Today, asserts that terrorism has become a global phenomenon with implication on all aspects of human lives and society. The extremists as claim so many responsibilities of attack on soft targets, including markets, churches, internally displaced persons, camps. Female, irrespective of their ages, have emerged as potent and deadly forces in northern Nigeria. And at times we have this acting as suicide bombers in some occasions. Going further, the view of the expert on classification and categorization of terrorist group varies, like Paul Wilkinson in 2020, Brian Jenkinson in 1985, Sterling in 1981. This is important as it helps in proper understanding of this group and their activities. Now we want to quickly look at the aim and the objective of this research. Scholars around the world have worked on Boko Haram insurgents and the harm they have done in the society. Little or no research is carried out on who kills more in this Boko Haram conflict. It's a new dimension of research in diving into Boko Haram conflict in Nigeria. So there is need for us to research on this, knowing who kills more in this insurgents battle. And this leads us to the aim of this research, the objective of this research. So the objective, looking at the objective of this research, we want to look at what is the total number of deaths from Boko Haram conflicts. We want to look at what is the total number of deaths from Boko Haram conflicts by state. What is the total number of deaths from Boko Haram conflict by year. We want to look at how many security personnel were killed by Boko Haram. We want to look at it per state, per year. We want to look at how many Boko Haram sects were killed by the security personnel. We're looking at it by state, we're looking at it by year. And we want to look at who kills more. In all of this, we want to compare, we want to see the figure, how it is like from Nigerian Watch data. The methodology, as we used to know from Nigerian Watch database, the data for this presentation was extracted from Nigerian Watch, which is an online database that compile and monitor data on violent death in order to provide statistics and analyze trends of fatalities in Nigeria. It is built with fatal incidents extracted from 10 daily newspapers and is based on their origin. Aside the national dailies, data are collected from police reports, judicial precedents, hospital reports, and reports from human rights organizations like Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International. Still methodological issue. The period covered by these studies the period covered by these studies ranges from June 2006, when Nigerian Watch commenced, to June 2020. Nigerian Watch captured data on Boko Haram in the Northeast and other states in Nigeria, among other incidents of violence in Nigeria. It is worthy to note that some instances of Boko Haram does not result in deaths. However, many cases of Boko Haram lead to fatality. Nigerian Watch data focuses on incidents with at least a death. We encounter some methodological issues, even in extracting this data. Looking at this, the quantification of violence has not occupied the front runners of research in Nigeria. One of the reasons for such is that crime statistics by the police and other government agencies are either unavailable, too restrictive, or not reliable. Hence, the Nigerian Watch data systematically track various leaders of violence across Nigeria to address the paucity of data on violence and its victims in Nigeria, in a bid to explore who kills more in Boko Haram conflict. In Nigeria, Nigerian Watch data is exhaustive, though without limitation like other research engagements. It is far from exhaustive, as some fatalities may go unreported by some national dailies. Accurate figures reported also pose a challenge to the newspapers, as some of them over-report or under-report fatalities for the same incidents. Regardless of this limitation, the data aids a better understanding of Boko Haram conflicts in interrogating who killed more. Let's want to look at the result and discussion of our findings, which you definitely find to be very interesting in this section. Now we want to look at what is the total number of deaths from Boko Haram conflict. The total number of deaths from Boko Haram conflict from June 2006 to June 2020 is 41,586 deaths from Adamawa. Like we said, some states were not inclusive, like Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, FCT, Gombe, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Kogi, Nasarawa, Niger, Plateau, Sokoto, Taraba, and Yobe State. This is not really focusing on only Northeast, both Northeast, North Central, and some states were also inclusive in this findings. I want to look at looking at it by state, looking at the graph we have before us. We could see that Borno State recorded the highest number of deaths, followed by Yobe and Adamawa. This we can see, and this could be attributed to the fact that they are in northeast. And we could see that most of the activities of Boko Haram is usually carried out in the northeast of Nigeria. The next table will show us a clear figure of how this death is by state. From here, we'll have Borno State leads the table with 34,793, followed by Yobe State, and followed by Adamawa. This is giving us the statistics of deaths. Now, we want to look at, by objective, we want to look at the next objective. What is the total number of deaths from Boko Haram conflict per year? Looking at it per year, we could see that 2014 here has the highest number of deaths, followed by 2015. Graphically, this is showing us the number of deaths per year carried out by Boko Haram conflict under the year in study. Going by this, we will see the table showing us how the figure are disaggregated, how the figure plays out in the year from the year 2020 to the year 2009. And this is also leading us to another objective, answering another objective question, which is, and this is leading us to answering another objective question in the course of the studies. How many security personnel were killed by Boko Haram? From this data, we discovered that 515 security operatives were killed by Boko Haram in Adamawa, Borno, Gombe, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kano, Kogi, and Yobe states. This is showing us. This is the graphical illustration of the killing. This is showing us a graphical illustration of the killing. This is showing us the graphical interpretation of the killing, and we will see here that Borno State has the highest number of security operatives killed so far, followed by Yobe State and Adama. Other states have some kind of some killings too, but not really like comparing it to Borno, which has the highest number of deaths, and then followed by Yobe State, followed by Adamawa State. This is graphically looking at the number of security operatives killed by Boko Haram. Looking at it by states, looking at it by figure, we could see the figure showing us as the killing was carried out in states and the totality of the killing. We want to look at other, how many security personnel were killed by Boko Haram per year. We want to look at the year, we want to look at the figures and the year. Still, 2014 has the highest number of deaths, as in the highest number of Boko Haram killing security personnel. 2014 recorded the highest so far, followed by 2015, by 2018, by 2016, and I think these were mostly the peak time that security operatives were killed by this insurgents group. Looking at it at a glance, this is showing us the figure and how the death was carried out. Going by looking at how many security personnel were killed by Boko Haram. We want to go to looking at how many Boko Haram insurgents were killed by the security personnel. How many Boko Haram sects were killed by soldiers. Let's not forget that in carrying out this attack, This Boko Haram insurgents killed security personnel, including JTF, police, and the like, and also kill civilians, go to schools, kill students, and the like. So, but now we want to look at how many Boko Haram sects were killed by soldiers, particularly Boko Haram sect. We have 16,946 Boko Haram members that were killed by soldiers from 2006 June to 2022 June in Adamawa, Borno, Gombe, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Kogi, Nasarawa, and Yobe State. Graphically looking at it, this shows the graph that so far, Borno State has the highest number of deaths, followed by Adamawa and Yobe, still justifying that these are the hub of these insurgents, being the northeast. Looking at it by graphically, just glancing at it, we'll see the figure so far: 15,249 deaths alone in Borno. It's actually a high figure comparing to other states. Actually, Borno happens to be the one of the states that these insurgents gain access into. There was a time that they even said they've gained total control of the state capital, but later the soldiers were able to capture them and send them back to their hiding. So I think this Borno state, this happens to be the hub of this, the home of these insurgents in Nigeria. Going by another objective, looking at how many Boko Haram sects were killed by soldiers, we could see in 2015 that soldiers killed 3,510 insurgents in 2015. Looking at it by year, we see that 2015 recorded the highest, followed by 2014, and 2020 happens to recorded another high figure of death. Looking at it at a glance from the table, it shows the figure of death and how it happens by year. So we want to look at who kills more. This is where this is what wants, who kills more in this conflict. We want to look at Boko Haram versus security personnel per year. From the graph we have on our screen, we could see that security personnel kills more Boko Haram than Boko Haram killing more of soldiers. It could be inferred from this graph that the security personnel are doing more justice, they are killing more than the Boko Haram killing security personnel. Though in all of it, most attacks carried out in the community claim so many lives, like attacking the marketplace, the school, the IDP camp, the Boko Haram insurgents strike more on community than they striking more on security personnel. And this accounts for some of the reasons why in the earlier figure that we have higher number of deaths from Boko Haram killing than this. You could see now that we could see from this graph that the soldiers are killing Boko Haram insurgents, but it's not in geometric progression like the way they kill soldiers and civilians. From this graph, you see that the killing by insurgents on security personnel is lower comparing to the killing by by security personnel on Boko Haram. This also leads us to another, this is per year, and we could see that the year that has a higher, the peak of it was on both sides. The peak of it was both 2015 and 2014. This is the peak of it. Then going by killing per state. Yeah, it's also in Borno State. Borno State has the highest of so far. Comparing on both sides, Borno State has the highest number of both insurgents killed, both security personnel killed, followed by Adamawa State, and next by Yobe State, all still in the northeast of Nigeria. Comparing these deaths. Now we are interrogating the deaths of Boko Haram insurgents in Nigeria. It could be seen clearly that although Boko Haram killed more, they killed more in 2014 compared to any other year, you could see that they are killing, taken by the graph, you know, they killed more compared to the security operative that killed Boko Haram, though the security operative were able to kill them, but the number of deaths cannot be compared to the number of deaths carried out by the insurgents on the community and on the civilians. Then could also be seen that Boko Haram too killed soldiers, but you cannot compare the killing of the soldiers by Boko Haram to the killing of the Boko Haram sect by the soldiers and the killing of the of civilians by Boko Haram insurgents. In conclusion, this is killing per state. Looking at killing per state, it's also recorded that Borno State has the highest number when comparing to the deaths of insurgents, the killing of insurgents. Borno State takes the lead in the table compared to other states. In conclusion to this presentation, comparing killing done by Boko Haram on various communities in the state and security apparatus, it can be said that more people died in the killing by Boko Haram. It can also be compared that security personnel killed more Boko Haram sects than they were killed. Also comparing states, more people were killed in Borno State, followed by Yobe State in all of the attack. And it's also noted that killing was more in the year 2014 and 2015. I want to really thank you for listening to this presentation. We'll give room to contribution to comment. I can invite the coordinator of this project, the person of Mr. Vitus to come forward to receive contribution, comments, and reaction to this presentation. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. We presented what we have, and we now wait for your questions and contributions. One thing I've known in the course of this work is anything about numbers is always controversial. Yeah, some people root for absolute numbers, some root for relative number of deaths per 100,000 populations. Then some use average. So it has always been an issue that has kept coming up in all our presentations. So we want you to ask questions, clarifications, and then make contributions as well. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
My name is Adede Jademola.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. I actually joined the seminar very late due to the back connection.
Okay.
But I don't know if it has been mentioned, but I would like to ask how the presenter was able to gather the data. I would like to ask because I'm a PhD student as well, and I'm writing something on exploration of citizen-led fight against insurgents in the Northeast. So, and I've been thinking if there are methods one can get that data from the Northeast other than visiting the place. So I don't know if she will have anything to say concerning that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adedeji. It's interesting that we watch most places in Nigeria from our workplace. So if you don't want to go to the Northeast, you may require for our data on all the states in the zone. We have a comprehensive data on labor violence in the entire country. So, and what we encourage our users to do is that you can combine qualitative and quantitative data. If you want to conduct interviews in the zone, you need to travel there. If you want to look at other primary sources, which means you can look at such databases like our own. It's very comprehensive. We update it on day-by-day occasion. So you can travel to Maiduguri from here. You can look at all the local governments in Borno State from a database. You can extract data on all the local governments in Nigeria from a database, all the states. Even in your community, you can even take a look at your community and know what happens there. So you don't only, when you use our own, you don't only need to travel to Borno to go and start looking for where you find data. But there's a process. The process is that you request, and there's a token paid for the data. It's not only more as a researcher, it's not only something anybody can afford. So when you write to the coordinator of the project, if you write me, I will send you a request form, you fill the form, send back to us, then we initiate the process of issuing you login details with which you can go to the data. It's an open database. You log in, then extract data on whatever you want. But if you still run into some issues in the process of extracting the data, you can easily contact any of us. We can help you, direct you, or teach you how you go about the process of the data mining. So it's something you can do from your home or just anywhere you want. You extract data and then for your research. So it's very, very feasible. Now, the strength of what we do is that we consider the regional dynamics when we are selecting the sources. We not only use the 10 daily newspapers, we use reports from Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, and there's some other international media organizations. Because we know that, yeah, the media in Nigeria is advanced, but yet we all have our issues. We all have our issues. So what we do is to corroborate what we have using those foreign media journals, organizations, or reports to make sure that we have a very rich data that can stand the test of time. So
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So I will send you can check the chat section to see how you can, the email you can send a request to.
Okay.
Okay, we're still waiting for other questions and then contributions. Okay, I can see Chinedu wants to, okay. Chinedu, you have the floor now.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, once again.
Good morning.
Yeah. First of all, I want to commend the presenter, Mrs. Victoria, for a job well done. And also I have to thank the organizers of this program, Mr. Victus and others, for giving it fit to invite us for this program. It's really an eye-opener, especially for us working in the area of violent crime, Boko Haram, and other terrorisms in Nigeria. I just have a little question or a clarification I want her to make. In the course of her presentation, she said that a total number of deaths have occurred in Boko Haram from 2006 to 2022, which is 41,586. But she said that some states were excluded. So I just want to ask the criteria for removing some states or not including the total number of deaths. Was it that the data were not available, or there was a particular geopolitical zones or states she was actually looking at? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chinedu, for that wonderful question. It's actually a brilliant one. Thank you so much. Actually, in the course of collating this result from Nigerian Watch data, there were some assumed Boko Haram incidents. Like in Lagos, there was also collated that in Lagos there was a strike by Boko Haram. And at the end of it, it was actually not Boko Haram. I think it was probably a communal issue. You know, Boko Haram became a household name. Now, even in any attack, our massacre of recent, initially some people were almost tagging it to the Boko Haram attack. So Nigerian Watch carefully look at incidents before coming down to ascertain with what people think. We don't go by assumption, we go by what really it is. So, and this is why we came out to look at the actual states that had this Boko Haram killing. And that was why we had to make use of those states in this. Thank you. I want to believe this is okay by you. And if not, you can also ask for more clarification. And it's also open to my colleagues if they have anything to say about this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. The clarification suffices. I'm okay with that. Thank you so much.
All right. You're welcome. Okay. Oliver, you have the floor now.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you.
Great. So I was just wondering, does your project extend to, or is there a project that you're doing that extends to figures outside of Nigeria, like kind of in Chad, for example, or Niger? Or is there an equivalent attempt to get data relating to sort of Boko Haram for those two countries?
Okay, the program only covers Nigeria, so we don't collect data on Niger, we don't collect data on Chad, but any part of Nigeria we are interested in, every part of Nigeria. But in some instances where Chadian soldiers come into Nigeria to launch an attack, so if it happens on the Nigerian soil, we capture it. If it happens outside Nigeria, we don't capture it. But it covers everywhere in Nigeria, only in Nigeria. Then it's not only on Boko Haram. We have data on political crisis, religious crisis, communal issues, pastoral clashes, and a whole lot of other areas that are conflictual in Nigeria. But it has to be in Nigeria. It has to occur on the Nigerian soil.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome, sir. Abiola Temitope said you have a comment. Abdullah, you said you have a comment to make. Please, you're welcome to the floor.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, you're welcome, Sam.
Yeah, I would like to commend the speaker for a job well done. I'm actually enthused about anything that has to do with insurgency, basically Boko Haram. But then I would like to comment on what she talked about as we get the presence of Boko Haram in Maiduguri before it was before Nigerian soldiers actually neutralized them in Maiduguri. I think that's quite confusing because I'm not so sure if there was any time Boko Haram actually maintained significant presence in Maiduguri. I thought their activities was limited to isolated communities in Borno State, and we just had few instances of attacks in the state capital. So I would actually love it if she can clarify that.
Okay, thank you. Before I invite her, I want to make a point. Normally, the newspapers report the attacks on the outskirts of Maiduguri, but still in Maiduguri local government. We don't have to forget it's a local government official too. When we are talking of AUNO, AUNO, it should be in the outskirts of Maiduguri, but it's still under Maiduguri. And from what we've heard, from what we've recorded, there have been series of incidents in Maiduguri local government. It may not only be of recent here because they've been able to ward them off into those interior communities in the capital city. But when we look at data we have from 2006 to 2006, 2016, there's no way we can rule out attacks in the capital city. It's difficult. Now, at some point, they were even heading towards the University of Maiduguri. I don't know we have our data, we have our sources anyway, so it really depends on what we find in our sources. Maybe you have other sources to debunk or to corroborate our own researches. Maybe she has more things to say on this. If they are not attacks in Maiduguri.
Okay, thank you for your question. My name is Victor. In Maiduguri, sometimes there are attacks in Maiduguri. I remember that some media reports of last 2 attacks in Maiduguri. I don't think there were fatalities. It was just an attack, and also the Boko Haram, they tried to infiltrate into Maiduguri because that's a constant attempt by them. They always want to infiltrate into Maiduguri itself because somehow it seems that Maiduguri has some kind of a buffer zone against their insurgency now because of the presence of, I should think, enormous security infrastructure in that area. But they are constantly trying to attack Maiduguri. The last 2 attempts, I don't think there were fatalities. So that's why maybe a database such as ours may not be able to capture anything because we're always very concerned about at least 1 death in an incident before we can impute it into our database. I don't know whether I answered your question.
No, thank you very much. The comment was actually about the heavy presence of Boko Haram in Maiduguri, not about attacks in Maiduguri. Definitely, there have been instances of violent attacks in Maiduguri by insurgent groups, but I just needed clarification as regards, like, okay, they were actually heavily present in Maiduguri, and then they had to be neutralized, or probably there were lots of counter-insurgency operations in Maiduguri for the security operatives to dislodge them. So that was the comment, not like if there was if there were activities of Boko Haram in Maiduguri. Thank you very much for the comment and for the clarification, though.
Okay. Welcome. So we await more questions and clarifications and contributions. Are there more comments Are there more contributions? Floor is open. Okay, I know that the presenter hinted at it, that we know that the entire nature of terrorism in Nigeria is metamorphosing into several other things like the ISWAP and even the Ansaru. That I know that currently the governor of Kaduna State cried out to the federal government that the size of the state, the size of Abia State in Kaduna State is being taken over by terrorists. And the difficulty we have currently in Nigeria is that some of these core terrorists, let me use that word, like Boko Haram and the Islamic State, they have a very tight rapport with even the so-called bandits that the government is treating with kid's glove. And this is a problem because when you look at this, we know that when the bandits, when the government started somewhat branding the bandits as terrorists, was after the Kaduna train attack. And so for long, the terrorists, let me use the word still, they call terrorists like the Boko Haram and the ISWAP, they have found a way to infiltrate into even some of the headsmen and every other forms of criminals that can parley with them in carrying out or in pushing forth their agenda. So in Nigeria, we have a situation whereby there is a continuous metamorphosis or a continuous infiltration, or should I call it diffusion, of the core ideology of the terrorists into other forms of criminal gangs. And so it makes it, as we have it in Nigeria currently, it makes it easy, or it makes it, one can sit back and somewhat say that terrorism is somehow infusing into the various sphere of the society. And the only thing is that we don't see the kind of heat that we get in Borno, in various places in Nigeria. But I know that there is this continuous attempt and continuous effort when we are sleeping, or when people are sleeping in Nigeria, the terrorists, they are continuously working hard. You know, they are continuously strategizing on how to permeate the various states and the various cities or core places that they can carry out their attacks. So I think the security operatives, even the intelligence agencies, should constantly be at alert to be able to quell or nip in the bud. I know that a few days ago in Lagos, someone was caught dressed in an all garb, hijab and all that. A guy was almost lynched, a terrorist caught in Lagos. So we have a whole lot of cases of this in Nigeria. So while the terrorist is not asleep, trying to permeate every aspect of the society, there should also be a constant effort by the intelligence agencies to be able to nip in the bud the activities of these terrorists, especially their movement, their crisscrossing movement across the country to hijack or to be able to strike at strategic locations. So that's the issue of Boko Haram and ISWAP and other forms of terrorist organizations like Ansaru, which has actually taken its stronghold in Niger State, Kaduna, some part of Kaduna, and even somewhat emanating in Kano. So that's I'm just giving this analysis to show the kind of the growth or the movement or the trend of Boko Haram, and not just Boko Haram, of terrorism in Nigeria. So now it's becoming quite difficult to differentiate between the activities of the so-called bandits and who are the core terrorists, like we usually refer to Boko Haram and ISWAP, who we know that ordinarily they are generally globally branded terrorists. So I leave it at that. I don't know whether anyone still has contributions or clarifications to make or question to throw at the presenter, at us, so we can keep on clarifying ourselves.
Okay.
Okay, right
yeah,
on.
Good afternoon again.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Okay, from the data displayed, can we just conclude that the military measures, like in countering terrorism in Nigeria, has been quite productive in the counterinsurgency efforts by the federal government? Because most human rights organizations and even global organizations have been critical of the military response to countering terrorism in Nigeria. But with the data like suggesting that there have been fatalities suffered from the insurgent camp compared to the fatalities suffered from the security forces, can we just conclude that it's been relatively successful, like the military response?
Okay, if I understood what you said initially, before you started giving a little breakdown, you asked, can we conclude that the military effort has been somewhat counterproductive based on...
If it has been productive, not counter.
Okay, if it has been productive. Okay,
yes.
If you look at the fact that the key goal of the terrorists is to take over the country. I know we had a similar thing in Mali where French troops were brought in, and I think the French troops, they are leaving Mali currently based on the problems the French government has with the Malian government. At the moment, you can't say that the military effort is not that productive. The only thing you would say is that it's not where it's supposed to be. It's not where it's supposed to be, because without the effort of the security agencies, probably, I don't know whether you're in Nigeria, probably myself and yourself will be in Benin Republic or another country, because it means that terrorism would have festered to every nook and crannies of the society. So I think the military has consistently been able to limit the activities of the terrorists. I mean, their brick and mortar activities, their hit and run, let me use that word. They are major striking in certain areas. Okay, let me give you an example, like what happened currently in Abuja. Now we are seeing a situation whereby the military is going into the bushes in Abuja, the suburbs and all that. They are hitting the terrorists, and there is also this move to clear off the bushes around the Niger State, between Niger State and Abuja. So these are all efforts to limit the activity. I think the problem, what you should be saying here is that our military is more or less on the reactive side. There should be efforts to take the fight to the terrorists and clear them off, especially the ones that are localized in places like Sambisa Forest and all that. So for the number of years that the fight against insurgency has been on, there should be a constant effort to actually clear off the enclaves of, most times we hear of clearance operations, but these operations, to a great extent, still leaves these terrorists still having access to particular locations where our military say that they've cleared or something like that. But places like Sambisa and all that are still somewhat left in the hands of these guys. So if our military should be on not just the reactive, side of the fight against insurgency, but on being proactive, taking the fight to the terrorists and all that, I think there should be more, success in the counterinsurgency operation. That's my answer to your question.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And we still have more contributions and questions. Okay, Oliver.
Thank you. Just in relation to what you were saying then, I mean, when you're saying the differentiation, you're saying about geographical differentiation, I think as well. So I think if I heard you correctly, you're saying that groups like Ansaru operated particularly in like Niger State and in the Northwest. So does your project, does that develop to follow these different groups? So for example, do you have specific kind of data that you're collecting about ISWAP or about Ansaru in the areas of the country where they are most prevalent?
Okay, in answering your question, our database has a portal or a portion or a feature for describing the particular group or groups whose activities resulted to the fatality that we are treating per incident. So I think it's something that requires a manual filtering, but we usually talk about the precise group that carries out an attack or that engages in any terrorist activity. That is what we do. We don't just talk about terrorism in a broad sense while describing any activity. We actually go down to talk about the groups or the individuals that are involved. So we talk about, if it's Boko Haram, we talk about Boko Haram. If it's ISWAP, we talk about them, that they are the ones that are responsible. And then if it's Islamic group Ansaru, we also talk about that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. More questions and clarifications? I want to thank also for our participation in this online seminar for today. We thank the presenter, Madam Victoria Ayodokun. We thank all of us who have participated. We thank all who have asked questions or made contributions. And we'll communicate our next online seminar to us. And we look forward to your constant participation. For your participation is quite, it's something that we value so much immensely. And our next seminar presentation will be on the topic, the Islamic movement of Nigeria and security forces and investigation. We are trying to look at the Shiites of Nigeria, and we want to look at their constant bandying with, their constant issues with security operatives. We want to investigate that and see how the Shiites and the security operatives, or how the security operatives has consistently handled both the Shiites movements, the activities, and every other thing. So it will be interesting. We look forward to your participation and also your contributions and clarification. That will be on August 18th. No, not August, on September. Well, it will be in the third Thursday in September, sorry. Third Thursday in September. So thank you for your participation once more. And from me to you, we'll call it a day. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day wherever you are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.